Now we start with the measurement of vapor pressure. For measurement of vapor pressure, broadly two methods, one is static method and another is dynamic method. These two methods are used. In case of static method, one is very simple method, that is barometric method. In case of barometric method, actually what we do, we take two barometric tubes. They are inverted into the mercury taken in a container, and then a heating jacket is there in which we can supply hot water, and here the cold water can be taken out, and then with the help of this dropper, few drops of the liquid whose vapor pressure we want to measure is introduced here. Those molecules, initially what will be there? Initially the level of the mercury in both the tubes will be at the same level. But with the help of this dropper, we add some molecules of liquid, they will go up and press the mercury downward. We keep on going on adding more and more and more drops of that particular liquid by the dropper. So here the liquid molecules will be there, and if we keep on introducing hot water also, then with the increase of temperature, these liquid molecules will be converted into the vapors. And as we have discussed in the definition of vapor pressure, that initially the rate of evaporation will be fast and the rate of condensation will be slow. And a stage will be reached that when the rate of this evaporation becomes equal to the rate of condensation, that stage will be the equilibrium state. And then when the equilibrium state is reached, then no more water liquid can be introduced with the help of this dropper. So at that stage, the difference between the two barometric tube will give you the vapor pressure of that particular liquid. So this is a very simple method, barometric method. And another important method is, in the static method, is isotoniscope method. This isotoniscope method, for understanding this working of this method, we will first discuss the diagram of this isotoniscope. Actually, this portion is isotoniscope, and this is the whole arrangement for the measurement of vapor pressure by isotoniscopic method. Here, what will be there? There are two limbs of a manometer. This is L1 and this is L2. This is bulb A. This tube here is C. Thermometer is there, and this is the container. This part is known as isotoniscope, and it is represented by A. This is a normal barometric tube here, and this is a two-mouth bottle which can be connected to vacuum as well as to atmosphere depending upon our requirement. Now, the working of this isotoniscope method is discussed here. First, the bottle E, this is E, this D, this A, B is for this bulb, C is for this limb of the manometer, and E for this bottle. So, working of this apparatus is discussed here. The bottle E is connected to the vacuum. First, you stop this atmospheric connection and you start this vacuum. So when it is connected to the vacuum pump and the apparatus is evacuated, यहाँ से जितनी भी इसमें air है, that is taken out with the help of this vacuum pump. and this is done till the liquid boils vigorously in the bulb B. Here in the bulb B, that liquid is taken whose vapor pressure is to be measured. और जैसा कि हमने बात कही थी कि जैसे जैसे एक्सटर्नल प्रेशर या एटमॉस्फेरिक प्रेशर लोअर होगा तो बॉइलिंग पॉइंट भी लोअर होगा। तो यहाँ क्या कर रहे हैं, यहाँ से वैक्यूम पंप से कनेक्ट कर देते हैं ताकि यहाँ की एयर गैस जो है वो बाहर निकले इस पूरे अपरेटस से। और हम तब तक करते हैं जब तक कि इतना लो वेपर प्रेशर, यहाँ एक्सटर्नल प्रेशर इतना लो हो जाए कि दिस लिक्विड स्टार्ट्स बॉइलिंग in the bulb B. When this liquid starts boiling, then what will happen? That this vapor of the liquid will come over here, and initially the level in the L1 and L2 tube are same in the both the tubes. But when the vapors put pressure on this limb L1, the level in the mercury in the L1 goes down, and in L2 it increases. So this expel all air from the isotenscope BC. The level of the liquid in the limb L2 stands higher than in the limb L1. Then the temperature of the thermostat is now adjusted to the desired value. हम जिस टेम्परेचर पे वेपर प्रेशर मेजर करना चाहते हैं इसको उस एक थर्मोस्टेट में हम रख लेते हैं और उस थर्मोस्टेट का हम टेम्परेचर अपनी रिक्वायरमेंट के अकॉर्डिंग फिक्स कर सकते हैं। तो वैल्यू एंड एयर इज एडमिटेड स्लोली इनटू द अपरेटस। अब क्या करते हैं हम, इस वैक्यूम पंप वाला जो कनेक्शन है इसको बंद कर देते हैं एंड वी कनेक्ट इट टू द एटमॉस्फेयर, एंड स्लोली द एयर फ्रॉम द एटमॉस्फेयर विल एंटर इनटू द बॉटल ई. फ्रॉम बॉटल ई इट विल come over here. A part of the air will put pressure on this barometric tube, and the part of the air will come here in the limb L2, and this process is done very slowly, so that the air which is coming over here into the limb L2, that will press the mercury in the limb L2 towards downward, and it is done till again the level in the L1 and L2 are equal. So the temperature of the thermostat is now adjusted to the desired value, and air is admitted slowly into the apparatus by connecting the bottle E to the atmosphere till the level of the liquid in both the limbs L1 and L2 are equal, as I have said just now. Under these conditions, the pressure in both the limbs L1 and L2 will be equal. प्रेशर इन द लिम्ब L1, यहाँ जो L1 लिम्ब में एक तरह से कह लो कि जो प्रेशर है दैट इज ड्यू टू द वेपर्स ऑफ द लिक्विड, एंड इन L2 द प्रेशर इज exerted by the atmospheric air. However, that atmospheric air which is introducing from this connection to atmosphere connection, that is further bifurcated in two paths. A part of that is used here and a part of that is used here. So we will note down the reading of this barometric tube. This P, this pressure or this difference in the level of the mercury is subtracted from the atmospheric pressure, because the total atmospheric pressure which is being applied, a part of that is used over here to increase the level of the mercury, that is P, and part of that is used over here to lower down the level of mercury in the limb L2. So in L2 the pressure will be obtained by subtracting the value of this from the atmospheric pressure. Thus pressure, whereas the pressure in the limb L2 is equal to the pressure in the rest of the apparatus and is equal to the atmospheric pressure minus the height of the mercury column in the tube D, which we can measure directly from the barometric tube. Hence this difference is the vapor pressure of the liquid at the temperature of the thermostat. Because in L1 limb the pressure is due to the vapors of the liquid, and in L2 limb the pressure is due to the atmosphere, and which is being separated in two parts. One is in the barometric tube and one in the limb L2. Then next method is dynamic method. In case of dynamic method, we again discuss 2-3 methods. First is simple. The simplest dynamic method is based upon the principle that a liquid boils at a temperature, just we use the definition of the boiling point, boils at the temperature at which the vapor pressure becomes equal to the external pressure over the liquid. Thus, by fixing the external pressure over the liquid at different values, the boiling point of the liquid is determined at each external pressure. As we have discussed earlier, the diagram of in which vapor pressure of various liquids is plotted with respect to temperature. So in this method, what we have to do, we first keep the external pressure to a particular value and then determine its boiling point, and then again change the external pressure. Say initially the external pressure is P1, then the corresponding boiling point is T1, then we change the external pressure P2, corresponding boiling point is T2, external pressure when is P3, the boiling point is T3, and likewise. And then we can plot graph vapor pressure on one side and temperature on the other side. And then from that plot, we can obtain the vapor pressure of that particular liquid at any particular given temperature. Another method that is important one, that is gas saturation method. So that gas saturation method, what we have to do? This method is important rather. In this method, a known weight of the experimental liquid, remember known weight, जो लिक्विड जिसका हमने वेपर प्रेशर मेजर करना है उस लिक्विड को वे करके हम लेंगे. नॉन वेट ऑफ द एक्सपेरिमेंटल लिक्विड इज टेकन इन ए क्लोज्ड वेसल. आल्सो ए नॉन वॉल्यूम ऑफ ड्राई एयर which we are using, its volume is also initially measured, that what is the volume of that air, dry air, at a known pressure. Pressure should also be known, and known temperature is then passed through it. As a result, the molecules of the liquid are carried with the air and a loss of weight of the liquid occurs. Air is continuously passed till there is no further loss in weight of the liquid, keeping the pressure P constant throughout. The air gets saturated with the vapors. In the air saturated with the vapor, if N1 and N2 are the number of moles of the vapor and air respectively, then the partial pressure of the vapor, which is equal to the vapor pressure of the liquid at experimental temperature, will be given by the formula this. इस चीज को समझे हम एक्सपेरिमेंटली करेंगे क्या, बड़ी सिंपल सी चीज है. कहता है जिस लिक्विड का वेपर प्रेशर हमने मेजर करना है उसका नॉन वेट हम एक कंटेनर में ले लेंगे और उसके बाद ड्राई एयर जिसकी वॉल्यूम हमें पता होगा, जिसका एक पर्टिकुलर टेम्परेचर कितना होगा वो हम नोट कर लेंगे, एक पर्टिकुलर किस प्रेशर पे हम उसको यूज कर रहे हैं वो हम नोट कर लेंगे. एंड दैट एयर इज पास्ड ओवर द known weight of the experimental liquid. What happens when those dry air molecules are passed over the experimental liquid, that will absorb some of the molecule of the liquid and gets moist. And due to the removal of the liquid molecules from the liquid, there will be loss in weight of the liquid. मैं इसको इस तरह से कंपेयर करता हूँ, जैसे किसी फंक्शन में हम जाते हैं, वहाँ पे डिफरेंट स्टॉल्स लगी हुई हैं, तो जो डिफरेंट स्टॉल्स लगी हुई हैं इनिशियली जो होस्ट ने लगा रखी है वो अपना सामान उसने काउंट करके लगा रखा है कि कितना सामान हमने वहाँ पे डिस्प्ले किया. और उसके बाद हम लोग जाते हैं, हम ड्राई एयर के मॉलिक्यूल्स हैं, एक तरह से कह लो कि हमें भूख लगी हुई है, हम वहाँ से पास करते हैं और उनमें से कुछ चीज़ें, कुछ आइटम्स हम खाते हुए चले जाते हैं. तो हमारा पेट तो भरता हुआ चला जाता है और वहां वो आइटम कम होते चले जाते हैं। एक राउंड लिया, कुछ आइटम कम हो गए, हमारा कुछ पेट भर गया। फिर हमने दूसरा राउंड लिया, आइटम और कम हो गए, हमारा पेट और भर गया। एंड लाइकवाइज हमने थर्ड राउंड लिया, फोर्थ राउंड लिया, शायद हो सकता है कि पांचवां राउंड भी हमने ले लिया, लेकिन उस स्टेज पे जाके हमें लगता है बस भाई अब हम एक भी आइटम नहीं खा सकते। इसका मतलब क्या है? वी गेट सैचुरेटेड। और वो स्टेज जब आ जाएगी तो वो जो आइटम्स रखे हुए थे उनके वेट में, उनके नंबर्स में कोई कमी नहीं आएगी। सो दैट विल बी द सैचुरेटेड स्टेट। So when that saturated state is reached, then we calculate the vapor pressure of the liquid using the formula like this. So again, I repeat from here, in the air saturated with the vapor, if N1 and N2 are the number of moles of the vapor and air respectively, then the partial pressure, हमने कहा कि N1 and N2 आर द नंबर ऑफ मोल्स ऑफ द वेपर, N1 इज द नंबर ऑफ मोल्स ऑफ वेपर। जैसे मैं कह रहा हूं कि भाई वो जो वहां से जो सामान रख रखा था होस्ट ने, उसमें से कितना कम हुआ, वो तो हुआ N1, और कितने लोगों ने किया, वो एयर के मोलिक्यूल हैं, दैट इज N2, वेपर एंड एयर रिस्पेक्टिवली। देन द पार्शियल प्रेशर ऑफ द वेपर विच इज इक्वल टू द वेपर प्रेशर ऑफ द लिक्विड एट द एक्सपेरिमेंटल टेम्परेचर विल बी गिवन बाय this formula. P will be equal to N1 upon N2. N1 upon N2 is the mole fraction and P is the total pressure. So N1 upon N1 into N1 plus N2 into P. If W is the loss in weight of the liquid and capital M is its molecular mass, N1 number of moles of the vapor will be equal to W by M. Further, if air is supposed to be an ideal gas, ये फिर से एक hypothetical situation ले रहे हैं कि जो air है that behaves like an ideal gas, then N2 can be given by N2 will be equal to PV upon RT. तो यहाँ पे आप N1 की जगह W by M रख दें, N2 की जगह PV upon RT रख दें, substituting the values of N1 and N2 in equation first, the vapor pressure of the liquid can be calculated at the desired temperature. So this is all about the property of liquid, that is vapor pressure. We have to discuss 4 properties. The next property is surface tension. Surface tension अगर हम define करना चाहें, let us consider a simple diagram. And we consider that there is a molecule in the bulk of the liquid. The molecule which is here in the bulk of the liquid will experience equal and opposite force in all the directions. Therefore, the net result will be that there will be no downward or upward or left or right side attraction on this molecule, means it will be in the equilibrium state. However, if we consider the molecule at the or near the surface of the liquid, then what will be there? The molecules which is attracting downward, this molecule, there are no molecules which can attract it in the upward direction. Here, if this molecule is attracting in the left hand side, there is a molecule present in the right hand side. But which are attracting this molecule downward, opposite to that, the molecules which can attract it in the upward direction are no more there. Therefore, the net result will be a downward force will be acting on this molecule. And whatever that downward force is there, that is known as surface tension. So, surface tension technically can be defined that the surface tension of a liquid is defined as the force acting at right angle downward to the surface along 1 centimeter length of the surface. देखिए यहाँ पे सारे सरफेस पे डाउनवर्ड फोर्स काम कर रही होगी। ये मॉलिक्यूल्स जो सरफेस पे मॉलिक्यूल्स हैं उनको नीचे की तरफ खींच रहे होंगे। बाय डेफिनेशन ये मान लो ये सरफेस हो सकता है 1 सेंटीमीटर, 2 सेंटीमीटर, 3 सेंटीमीटर, 4 सेंटीमीटर, 5 सेंटीमीटर का है फर्ज करो ये सरफेस। हम उस सारे पे जो फोर्स काम कर रही है तो वो भी सरफेस टेंशन ही, लेकिन बाय डेफिनेशन हम क्या कर रहे हैं कि ये हम यहाँ से यहाँ तक मान लो 1 सेंटीमीटर, यहाँ पे जितनी फोर्स काम कर रही होगी डाउनवर्ड along 1 centimeter length of the surface downward, that force will be known as surface tension. Now the units of surface tension. कभी कभार बड़ा आसान सा क्वेश्चन होता है, एक नंबर का काम होता है कि what will be the SI unit of surface tension. So CGS unit हम क्या करें कि force per unit length हमने डिफाइन किया है कि as the force acting at right angle downward to the surface along 1 centimeter length of the surface. So force के लिए हम डाइन CGS में और लेंथ के लिए सेंटीमीटर, तो डाइन पर सेंटीमीटर, और इन केस ऑफ SI यूनिट इट विल बी न्यूटन पर मीटर. However, nowadays the units used are in SI system still, as most of the results regarding surface tension are expressed in terms of CGS unit. Therefore, the unit dyne per centimeter is usually used instead of Newton per meter. The next term is surface energy. आप देखेंगे surface energy की हम definition तो अलग देंगे, लेकिन इसकी यूनिट वही आ जाती है जो surface tension की होती है. तो इसलिए कहता है कि कई बार हम surface tension की जगह surface energy और surface energy की जगह surface tension term भी यूज कर लेते हैं. Now, what happens to a liquid due to surface tension? That due to surface tension, the liquid molecules experience a net downward force. And due to that net downward force, the surface area of the liquid decreased. Now, if hypothetically we apply a force which can act upward to increase the surface area of the liquid, that force is known as surface energy. So we define surface energy as a result of surface tension. The surface of liquid tends to contract to the smallest possible area for a given volume of the liquid. To increase the area of surface, some work has to be done against the inward pull of the surface tension, and thus the work in arcs required to be done to increase or extend, आप increase कह सकते हैं, आप extend कह सकते हैं, to increase or extend the surface area by 1 centimeter square is called surface energy. Now units of surface energy. Surface energy की definition हम क्या दे रहे हैं? Surface energy is work done per square centimeter. Work done by definition is force into displacement per square centimeter. As such, force into displacement. Force के लिए हमने CGS यूनिट ले ली डाइन्स, डिस्प्लेसमेंट सेंटीमीटर, डाइन इंटू सेंटीमीटर पर स्क्वायर सेंटीमीटर, तो नीचे आ जाएगा सेंटीमीटर स्क्वायर. And by solving this, will give you dyne per centimeter. So the units of surface tension and surface energy are one and the same thing. That's why the definition of surface energy is sometimes taken as the definition of surface tension. Now, as we have discussed some important terms in case of vapor pressure, here also some important results of सरफेस टेंशन वी विल बी डिस्कसिंग. और मैं यहाँ फिर से क्लियर करूँ कि यहाँ भी कुछ 2-3 छोटे-छोटे रीजनिंग के क्वेश्चंस होंगे और वो आमतौर पे पूछे जाते हैं. उनमें से सबसे पहला तो यही है कि एक्सप्लेन व्हाई द शेप ऑफ ए लिक्विड ड्रॉप इज स्फेरिकल. तो इस तरह के जो भी कोई रीजनिंग के क्वेश्चन हो उसमें कोशिश करो कि जो मेन रीजन है वो पहली ही लाइन में आ जाए, अगर आपको लैंग्वेज अलाउ करती है तो, और उसके बाद फिर आप उसको एक्सप्लेन करते रहें. अगर मेन रीज़न आपने सही दे दिया है तो एक्सप्लेनेशन थोड़ी बहुत कम भी दी जाएगी, तब भी आपको पूरा क्रेडिट मिल जाएगा. और अदरवाइज आप एक्सप्लेन तो 4 लाइन्स में करते रहें और एक्चुअल जो रीज़न है वो आप अगर नहीं दे पाते हैं या बहुत लेट स्टेज पे देते हैं तो पर्टिकुलरली क्रेडिट जो है मार्क्स का वो आपको उतना ज़्यादा नहीं मिल पाएगा. तो why the shape of a liquid drop is spherical? As we have discussed that due to surface tension, every liquid has a tendency to have minimum surface area. And it is found that for a given mass of a liquid, the spherical shape has the minimum surface area. आप एक पर्टिकुलर वॉल्यूम, एक पर्टिकुलर अमाउंट एक लिक्विड का ले लें और उसको आप स्फेरिकल शेप में रखें, आप उसको कोनिकल शेप में रखें, आप उसको रेक्टेंगुलर शेप में रखें, आप उसको स्क्वायर शेप में रखें, एंड then you can calculate the surface area. You will find that the surface area will be minimum in case of spherical shape. So due to surface tension, every liquid has a tendency to have minimum surface area, and as the spherical shape has the minimum surface area for a particular mass of a liquid, that's why the shape of a liquid drop is spherical. So first is spherical shape of drop. The shape of a liquid drop is spherical due to surface tension. Because due to surface tension, every liquid has a tendency to have minimum surface area. As for a given volume, a sphere has minimum surface area, and that's why the shape of a liquid drop is spherical. Next thing is that question can be in the form that explain why liquid rises to certain height in a capillary tube when dipped in a liquid. Again, you can say that a liquid rises in a capillary tube to a certain height due to surface tension and capillary rise action. We explained what is capillary rise action. Say, this is the capillary. Capillary will be very fine glass tube open at both the ends, and this is the liquid. This capillary tube is dipped into this liquid. The level of the liquid in the container is up to this line. However, when this capillary tube is dipped, then the liquid will rise to this level as well as somewhat higher than this level, say up to this level. Why it is so? So this is because due to surface tension, these liquid molecules will experience a downward pull, and that downward pull will push the liquid upward in the capillary to a certain height. However, remember that this thing happens only in case of those liquids which wet the side of the capillary tube. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, आपको लगेगा कि ऐसा तो कोई लिक्विड होगा ही नहीं जो कैपिलरी ट्यूब की साइड को गिल्ला ना करे, लेकिन अगर आप मरकरी लेंगे तो दैट मरकरी विल नॉट वेट द साइड ऑफ द कैपिलरी ट्यूब, और उस केस में उसमें लेवल ऊपर जाने के बजाय नीचे रहेगा. दैट इज ड्यू टू द coercive force and adhesive force. When the adhesive force of liquid and capillary tube is more, then capillary rise action takes place. But when the coercive force is more, then this capillary rise action will not take place. So, rise of a liquid in a capillary tube. It is found that the liquid rises into the capillary tube to a certain height when dipped in a liquid. This is also due to surface tension and capillary rise action. This rise is due to the inward pull of surface tension acting on the surface, which pushes the liquid upward in the capillary tube. जैसा हमने अभी डिस्कस किया. And the same is the reason the oil rises into the wick of an oil lamp, and water below the surface of the earth rises to the plants through the roots. कह रहा है कि this capillary rise action is responsible for rising of oil in the wick of a oil lamp, and also the water from the earth, from the roots can go up to the higher parts of the plants. That is also due to capillary rise action. And this diagram is showing that why the shape of the liquid drop is spherical, because all molecules will experience an inward pull, and that will make the shape of the liquid molecule spherical. Another term is interfacial tension. When we mix two liquids which are immiscible or partially miscible, then what happens? They will not intermix thoroughly and will not make homogeneous mixture and will form two layers. This is because of their different surface tension. And the tension, or you call it as interfacial tension, existing at the intermixing layer of the two liquids is known as interfacial tension. If two immiscible or partially miscible liquids are taken in a container, then the surface tension acting along the surface of separation, that is along the interface, is called interfacial tension. Next term is surface active agents. जैसे हम कहते हैं surfactants, detergents, these are surface active agents. So the cleaning action of soap also based on this surface active agents property. Such substances which lower the surface tension of water are called surface active agents. For example, soaps, sulfonic acids, methyl alcohol, ethyl alcohol, acetone, etc. acts as surface active agents. The next is effect of temperature on surface tension. आमतौर पे ये भी एक नंबर का काम पूछते हैं, या तो effect of temperature on surface tension या फिर effect of temperature on viscosity, जो next property हम discuss करेंगे. और fortunately दोनों में एक ही तरह का trend मिलता है कि the surface tension of liquid generally decreases. In case of viscosity also, that also decreases with the increase of temperature. With the increase of temperature and becomes zero at the critical temperature. So initially we discussed why surface tension of a liquid decreases with the increase of temperature. Actually, surface tension is the resultant of the intermolecular force of attraction between the liquid molecules. If more is the intermolecular force of attraction between the among the molecules of the liquid, higher will be the surface tension of the liquid. And when we increases the temperature of the liquid, then their kinetic energy increases, the velocity of the molecules increases, means the intermolecular force of attraction decreases. And that decrease in the intermolecular force of attraction is responsible for decreasing the surface tension of the liquid. And the important thing that it will keep on going on decreasing until the critical temperature is obtained, and when the critical temperature is obtained, then its surface tension becomes equal to zero. The decrease in surface tension with increase of temperature is due to the fact that with increase of temperature, the kinetic energy of the molecules, as I have discussed just now, increases, and therefore the intermolecular attraction decreases. Now, this is the qualitative description. Quantitatively, Elliott deduced an important relationship between temperature and surface tension as follows: that gamma into m upon d raised to power 2 by 3 is equal to k into Tc minus T. Here gamma is the surface tension, m is molecular mass of the liquid, d is the density of the liquid at a particular temperature T, and k is constant and Tc is critical temperature. It is obvious from this relation that if this critical temperature is equal to this temperature of the liquid, or you can say this temperature of the liquid, if we go on increasing the temperature of the liquid and this temperature T becomes equal to the critical temperature, then this term will become equal to 0. So right hand side will become equal to 0. Now this left hand side, gamma into m upon d raised to power 2 by 3 is equal to 0, will be 0 only, either gamma is equal to 0 or m upon d is equal to 0. As m upon d, m is the molecular mass of the liquid and d is the density of the liquid. If there is a liquid that must have some molecular mass, that must have some density, so in that case m upon d can't be equal to 0. So only the possibility is gamma. Gamma means surface tension of the liquid is 0. So when the temperature of the liquid becomes equal to the critical temperature, then surface tension of the liquid becomes equal to the 0. So as we increases the temperature of the liquid becomes equal to 0. So the surface tension of a liquid becomes equal to the 0 when the temperature of the liquid is changed to critical temperature. However, Ramsay and Shields found that the value of gamma into m upon d raised to power 2 by 3 is 0 not at t is equal to Tc. जब टेम्परेचर क्रिटिकल टेम्परेचर के बराबर हो तभी नहीं, उससे 6 डिग्री पहले ही, दैट मीन्स T इज इक्वल टू Tc माइनस 6. मान लो किसी का क्रिटिकल टेम्परेचर 100 डिग्री सेल्सियस है, तो जो योटवास ने तो कहा था, वो तो कहा था कि 100 डिग्री सेल्सियस टेम्परेचर पहुंचेगा तब उसकी सरफेस टेंशन 0 होगी, बट अकॉर्डिंग टू रैम्से एंड शील्ड्स it will become equal to 0 6 degree prior to that of critical temperature, means 100 minus 6 say 94 degree Celsius. So this equation is slightly modified, that gamma into m upon d raised to power 2 by 3 is equal to k into Tc minus T minus 6. However, according to equation second, gamma will be 0 at T is equal to Tc minus 6 and will be negative at T is equal to Tc. तो उस हिसाब से तो आपके पास जब ये अगर T क्रिटिकल टेम्परेचर के बराबर होगा तो ये माइनस वैल्यू आ जाएगी. दैट इज नॉट पॉसिबल. टू ओवरकम दिस प्रॉब्लम, वन मोर improvement was done, that the formula was modified as gamma into m upon d raised to power 2 by 3 is equal to k dash into Tc minus T, where d is the density of the vapor at temperature T. In this equation, gamma is equal to 0 when T is equal to Tc.